That means we've talked about motivation, which is desire to want to achieve a set of goal or an objective. But different employers will come up with their own way of motivating their workforce. Business A might have a method to use in motivating workforce that will be different from that of business B or those of other businesses. That is what we need to talk about today. Let's go down, please. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Remuneration. So the first reason for working, we talked about wages, right? The salary. So remuneration is the amount of money you pay to your employees. So they said remuneration is money paid to employees for their work. So your employees have done certain job which they have to be paid for. So they are rewarded for the job done. So that is called the remuneration. Do you understand what remuneration is? The wages or the salary, the money you pay to your employees because they have carried out the task that was expected of them. Do you get it? Please sit down, please. Upright. So, they said the money paid to employees for their work or service to an organization. So, your company, you as an employer, you have paid them because they have carried out their own task. So, they said, according to Taylor, people only work because of money. We talked about that. For Taylor, people work because of money. For Maslow, money is needed by workers to help satisfy their physiological needs and other needs. For Maslow, he believes money is needed, yes. Motivation can only come to workers because they need to fill up or they need to meet up certain needs at each particular point in time. That is for Maslow. So there are different methods of remuneration, each which has advantages and disadvantages. So money paid to your employees is called remuneration, but there are different kinds of remuneration. There are different kinds of rewards businesses use in motivating employees. So yeah, we'll start with the time rates, number one. So for time rates, we're talking about you paying workers based on the hours they spent at workplace. That is time rate. Do you get time rate here? Paying workers based on the hours they spent at workplace. Is it clear? So you are going to be paid based on the time you spent at the work. That is time rate. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question about that? So this is gross pay that is paid, okay? The worker net pay is what they take home. Okay, let's just talk about gross pay and net pay. So when we talk about gross pay, let's say, therefore, someone who earns and works this week will receive this. This is gross pay and this is pay because before deduction. Well, for gross pay, that is the total amount of money you make. But as soon as they have to take off deduction, like taxes, you have to pay taxes, then that becomes your net pay. Do you understand? Gross pay is the total amount of money you make. Net pay is that amount of money you're going to get finally as soon as your tax is deducted. Do you have any question about that? So, do you have any question, please? No. We have income tax, different type of tax we have, or different type of deductions that could be done on your pay. Income tax, this is the tax on your salary. National insurance contributions, maybe you have insurance, you have different insurance policies that you have to pay at the end of the month. It's a deduction, you have to take it from your gross pay. Pension contributions, you are saving towards the time you're going to get retirement. You are saving towards your retirement age. That's what we call pension contributions. Do we get what I'm talking about here? Here, government is not going to pay you, but individuals, these days there are different pension schemes. Are you here? There are different pension schemes that you can contribute towards your future. So you continue to contribute certain amount of money from your salary until you retire. Then as soon as you retire, that scheme will give you all your contribution. So you are saving towards retirement. That is what they mean by pension contribution. Is it clear? So you're not going to be, because most of the time, not everybody works with government. If you are working with government, when you retire, government will give you gratuity. Do you get it? But if you are working with private firms, you might not be able to get gratuity. So it is you that you have to start keeping money aside for your future when you will not be able to work. That is pension. Contribution to an employer savings scheme. So these are different contributions to that. Your company can, you don't need to use a pension scheme. Your company will be saving certain amount. As soon as your salary is paid, Your company will take certain amount of money there, you continue to keep it somewhere for you. As soon as you are leaving their company, you get it. Is it clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
You payment for education or training loans. You could make training yourself and your company would refund you. You could train yourself and your company will refund you based on maybe you have to provide them the evidence of such training. Or maybe you have scholarship. You can pay your students' school fees, but the school or the company will refund you. Is it clear?
Yes.
Trade union membership fees. If you are joining a trade union, you have to pay their membership fee. It's part of deduction. Is it clear? So these are different kinds of deductions that will go from your gross pay to have your net pay. Do we understand? Your gross pay is the total amount of money you make. But as soon as deductions are taken, like income tax, like pension contribution, like savings, like insurance,
Net pay.
net pay. Clear? Thank you. We'll move on. Yeah, let me quickly just talk about overtime. Sorry. Overtime means payment you get when you are working more than the hours you're supposed to work. So I'm supposed to finish my work at 2 o'clock, but now I'm doing it until 4 o'clock. So that is an overtime of 2 hours. I could get paid. I will be paid for that. Do we get it? That is overtime. Payment based on spending more hour than the required or the contracted hours that you're supposed to spend. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Do you understand overtime?
Yes.
Overtime. It is an overtime because you've spent more than the official hour signed with your company. You're supposed to work until 4 o'clock, but now you are working until 6 o'clock. You have 2 hours overtime. You get paid for that. That payment is called overtime payment. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any questions up to now?
No.
We'll move on. Thank you. Some employees are paid a salary, which is what? At the end of the month. Which is expressed in annual terms and paid monthly. They said annually, that means multiplied by 12.
Yeah.
You understand? But you get it at the end of each month. That's salary. Any question about salary? Salary is another kind of or form of remuneration. Any question about it?
No.
Good. We move on to piece rates. For piece rate, we discussed it already. Piece rate means you are being paid based on the output, the quantity you produced. You have to sit up like this. Closer to the back of hand. So piece rate means you are being paid based on the hours you have produced. That is piece rate. It says so workers are paid according to how much they produce. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Any question about that?
No.
Alright. They said, however, piece rates do have problems. So what are the problems about using piece rate method of remuneration? Number one, piece rate cannot be used if work cannot be measured. Like service. We talked about it. Service, you cannot measure service. You cannot measure it. The time I spend, you can, because it's time rate. But what I produce, how productive I am, you cannot. Except if you are going to tell me that, oh, you have to finish chapter 1 to chapter 5 in 7 days. It is measured. And it is not even piece rate, it's time rate. Do you get it?
So they use salaries for the people who work in
Services.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly services are salary. Except if otherwise, like maybe you have an agreement with your contractor or the person that is giving you the job. But for piece rates, it is difficult to use it when you cannot measure the output. That is the point. Are you getting? We're talking about the problems using piece rates. The first one that is we cannot use piece rate if it's not possible to measure the output because it is based on output. Number two, the quality of output will suffer if people work too fast. Because I have to be paid based on what I produce. I want to do it as soon as possible, making me not to give quality. I just want to be fast so I can do more.
Yeah.
You care about the money. As long as you can produce more, you don't care about the quality. So quality may suffer. There might not be quality because workers want to produce as much as possible to get as much as possible. Do you get it? The third one, workers might use dangerous practices, trying to work too fast, shortcut. They don't care about health and safety anymore, because it is how fast you are that you get more paid. Do you understand the problems here? The first problem is that we cannot use piece rate if we cannot measure the output. The second one is that quality might not be there because workers are thinking about how to do it so fast. The third one is that they can use dangerous practices to ensure that they get what they want.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Any question about this? Any question, please? Do you want me to write something? Good. We'll move on. Thank you. PRP. We call it PRP. Performance related pay. Here, you'll be paid based on the effort, based on what you have done. They are paying you for your effort at workplace. Do you get it? You just said, maybe used to motivate non-manual workers. PRP is designed specifically to reward workers whose output is difficult to measure. So instead of using piece rate, you could use performance-related pay, especially when it is difficult for you to measure the output. So, well, we cannot measure the effort of teachers. Okay, but I think that teacher is doing well. So we want to pay him or her based on what we see him or her doing. Do you understand performance-related pay? You are paid based on how much effort you put into the job. Is it clear? Okay, so this involves meeting between individual workers every year too. Okay. Here works best if businesses use an appraiser. Okay, then let me talk about appraisal. What does appraiser mean? Appraiser means getting information about how well you perform. That is an appraiser. Do you get what appraisal is here? I'm going to get a form that I will feel, oh, punctual, yes. No absence, no. Getting the job done well, yes. Efficient, yes. Cordial, respect, these are appraisals. So this is what they put together to pay you. Do you get what appraisal is here? Yeah. A form that will indicate how well you are performing at workplace. A form that will indicate how well you perform morally with the job at workplace. Do you understand what appraisal is here? Do you understand what an appraisal is here? Appraisal form is a document or it's a form that indicates the performance of employees. Do you want me to write it out, please? Okay. So, this involves meeting with individuals, workers every year to discuss progress at work. So, they want to know how well you are doing. They want to know your progress. They want to see the steps you have taken at the job. 2, assess whether targets have been met. They want to check if you have met up with the target for this year. You know, for each year that passes by, there will be a set target. There are objectives that has to be reached, yes or no. So, appraiser will talk about it. Oh, was he able to meet up with its targets? No. Or was he able to meet up with her targets? Yes. Took it up. As soon as the target is done, a new target will be set for the next year. Do you get it? And if you don't meet up your target also, you have to think about the way forward to meeting up the target the next time. Do you understand what appraisal is here?
Yeah.
So if targets are met or exceeded, workers will get paid more. Businesses like PRP because it links pay to performance, and only workers who perform well will be paid more. However, the system does have some problems. So before we go into the problems, I think based on what I said about PRP, it is clear. You are paid based on your appraisal. And what is an appraisal? A document, a form that indicates how well you are doing at workplace. I think it's clear. So what are the problems when we have to use appraisal to pay employees? Number 1, some workers feel that it is unfair because appraisals may be inconsistent. Now, they want to use appraisal forms. But the week that they are using that appraisal, I am not so well. I have some bad mood. I've been doing well. But now that they have to appraise us, that week that they're going to appraise us, I'm not doing well. Huh? Stressful. How stressful?
Because they have to be perfect all the time.
Yes, they have to be perfect all the time, but people cannot be. Do you get it? So those times that you are not might be the time that would count. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
Those times that you are not might be the time that counts. So the financial incentives may not be high enough to motivate workers to improve their performance. You feel okay, maybe the last person that got an appraiser got $50. I feel like $50. Is it because of $50 I want to do more? No. So the PRP might not be enough to motivate workers to improve their motivation. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Because it's a figure. And as soon as you know the figure, it is valueless. Do you get the point? As soon as you know the figure, it becomes valueless. If you don't know the figure, yes. But if you know the figure, it becomes valueless. So how do I have to put effort because of this amount? So the amount payable might not be good enough to motivate workers to opt up their performance. Is it clear?
Yeah.
The third one. Some workers may feel that the performance targets set are too demanding. Oh, I can't, it's too much for me to do. That's the target that we have to meet. But for me, I don't see it easy. I can't. But for me, everything that's possible, it's possible. I try to. Do you understand? But we're like, oh no, I can't reach this target. It's too demanding. It's different from not enough. It's not about money here. It's about how difficult you think the task is.